Welcome to the Haunted Lore podcast, where ancient fears meet modern nightmares. Today, we delve into the shadowed halls of South Korea's educational system, where the pressure to succeed has birthed something far more terrifying than any failed exam. They say that in the competitive world of South Korean academics, numbers define your worth. Your test scores, your class ranking, your university entrance exam results, these digits determine your future. But in 2005, at Hanyang Girls High School, two numbers would become fatally intertwined: 1 and 2. For 3 years, the halls of Hanyang Girls High School witnessed a silent war between two students. Minji Park and Ji-eun Kim shared more than just a classroom. They shared an obsession with perfection. But while Ji-eun seemed to achieve it effortlessly, Minji's grasp always fell just short. Every morning, the test scores would be posted in the hallway. Students would crowd around, searching for their names, but Minji and Ji-eun never had to search. Their names were always at the top. Ji-eun first, Minji second. Always second. The teachers called it a friendly rivalry. They praised both girls as model students, held them up as examples of academic excellence. But they didn't see the darkness growing in Minji's eyes each time Ji-eun raised her hand in class. They didn't notice how Minji's congratulatory smiles never reached her eyes. Minji's parents had expectations. Her father, a prestigious university professor, would lay out Ji-eun's test papers beside Minji's at the dinner table. "Look," he would say, pointing to the red marks that separated perfection from near perfection. "Look at what you missed." The pressure built like steam in a kettle. Minji began staying at school later and later, studying into the night. The security guard would find her in the library, surrounded by towers of books, muttering formulas under her breath. Her notebooks filled with increasingly frantic calculations, margins crowded with the same words written over and over. Must be first, must be first, must be first. Ji-eun noticed her friend's dissent. She tried to reach out, offered to study together, even intentionally missed a few questions on tests. But her kindness only fueled Minji's rage. How dare she show pity? How dare she be so perfect she could afford to fail? The day everything changed was unusually dark for spring. Storm clouds hung low over Seoul, and the cherry blossoms fell like pale tears in the rain. The final college entrance exam was approaching, the Sunyung, the test that would determine their entire futures. Minji arrived early that morning, her uniform pristine, her shoes leaving wet prints in the empty halls. She knew Ji-eun always came to school early to study on the rooftop, regardless of weather. Ji-eun claimed the rain helped her focus. The rooftop door opened with a groan. Ji-eun was there, as expected, huddled under the small overhang, textbooks spread around her like faithful companions. She looked up as Minji approached, offering that same gentle smile that had tormented Minji for 3 years. "Minji-ya," Ji-eun said. "You'll get wet. Come share my space." But Minji didn't respond. Her eyes were fixed on the low safety rail, slick with rain. 3 steps. That's all it would take. 3 steps to end 3 years of humiliation. What happened next took only seconds, but in Minji's memory, it would play out in endless slow motion. The look of confusion on Ji-eun's face as Minji lunged forward. The way Ji-eun's perfect notes scattered in the wind like startled birds. The sound, that terrible sound, of impact. The official report called it an accident, a tragic slip in the rain. After all, Minji was a model student, and who would suspect the second-best student in school of murder? But the night after Ji-eun's funeral, the strange sounds began. It started in the stairwell, a rhythmic sound that students described as kong kong, like someone climbing the stairs with mechanical precision. Always after sunset, always when the building should have been empty. Then came the sightings. A figure in a rain-soaked uniform, clutching dripping textbooks, asking anyone she encountered the same questions. What was my final score? Did I beat you this time? The security guards quit first. Then teachers began requesting transfers. Students refused to stay late for study sessions. But Min-ji remained, finally claiming her spot at the top of every class. Yet, her triumph was short-lived. Every night as she studied, the sound would find her. Kong kong, kong kong, getting closer. Sometimes she'd find wet footprints leading to her desk, water dripping onto her perfect test papers. Other students reported strange phenomena. Test papers that changed overnight, perfect scores transformed into failing grades, the sound of someone sobbing in empty classrooms, and always, always, those footsteps. Kong 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 kong. 1 month after Ji-eun's death, the night janitor found Min-ji in the school library. She was surrounded by torn test papers, her own and Ji-eun's, scattered like confetti. On the wall, written over and over in what looked like water but refused to dry, "Second place is just first loser." Min-ji was admitted to a psychiatric hospital, where she remains to this day, endlessly taking imaginary tests and muttering about footsteps in the rain. But the Kong Kong ghost, she never left Hanyang Girls High School. They say she still roams the stairwells, especially during exam season. Some say she appears to students struggling with academic pressure, offering to help them study, for a price. Others claim she's seeking redemption, trying to prevent others from following Min-ji's dark path. But all agree on one thing. If you're studying late at night in any Korean school, and you hear those footsteps, kong kong, kong kong, don't look up. Don't answer if someone asks you about test scores. And whatever you do, don't accept help from a student in a wet uniform, especially if she's carrying pristine textbooks in the rain. The Kong Kong ghost serves as a chilling reminder that some lessons can't be learned from books, and some tests measure more than just knowledge. In the end, perhaps the hardest test of all is the one that measures our humanity. If you've enjoyed today's tale of academic horror, make sure to follow the Haunted Law podcast on all major platforms. Leave us a review, share with a friend, and remember, not all education happens in the classroom. Sometimes the most important lessons are taught in darkness.